Hi, and welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
You having a problem?
Yeah, I'm a cramp in my jaw.
So we're back, and
That's what I get for smiling.
That's why she always looks so sour and angry. So we're back. It's beginning of August, Eve's birthday month. What is your birthday next week?
A week after Sunday.
Yeah,
Sunday.
that's called next week.
To me, Sunday starts next week, and then the next Sunday is the week after,
Okay, anyway.
the 14th.
But when you view this, it will be 1 week exactly from her birthday.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I'm just saying. Okay, so your birthday's next week. We've established that. Okay. Are you going first? If you can stop laughing.
Yes.
Okay.
I just thought of a very funny story.
Save it for later.
I have done some FFOing. Very little else. But I fully finished this. This is Strawberry Cow by Tiny Modernist.
That's so cute.
It's from the Moo the Merrier. And I had this piece up on the table. It said America the Beautiful or something. I got it in the 4th of July stuff at Hobby Lobby. It's got this little edging here, which I thought was very cow looking.
Yeah. So you cannibalized it and used it?
No, I didn't cannibalize it. I
Is
just,
that
Metal?
Galvanized metal. Yeah.
I'm saying it said something else and you just slapped that on there.
yeah.
Nice.
But it had these rivets, which gave me all kinds of fits. And then I was thinking that this fabric was going to come closer to the edge once it went across, so I cut this little board here a little bit thinner than I should have. Because I didn't want to cut it exactly the same size and have it sticking out,
Right.
you know.
Can I see it?
So then I ran a ribbon around the edge, and I really like the way that ribbon around the edge looks.
Oh. You mean this stripy ribbon
Yeah.
right here?
Happy accident. Happy accidents.
Oh, I didn't realize that was
You thought
not.
that's the way it
Yeah,
came?
I
Yeah.
thought that was.
I thought that was like a frame on the thing.
No, it
May
had
I
a
see
red.
it?
It had a red edge. You
May I
can
see
kind of
it?
see.
Moo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, how
I
cute.
I placed
Fussing
it.
it around.
I fussled
There's a
with
little
it. till-
chicken up here. Oh, that's so cute.
And the cow looks.
And
a
I
lot
thought about
better
using
on
that same ribbon and putting a bow on top or something, but I don't think it needs
it's
it.
really perfect.
Yeah, I don't think it
Absolutely
needs it.
perfect.
And I saw that cow really stands out on that fabric.
Yeah,
Very
the
well.
model is
Yeah,
like
the
not
picture-
On that light color, the cow, you could barely see the cow.
Yeah, this is great.
And that, I stitched it on fabric I dyed myself, and I believe it's 28 count.
That's really nice.
I think that was one of the
It's
first
really
things I
small.
stitched on 28 count.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
the
looks
holes
like
are real small.
28 or 32. But it looks
It's
like
28.
it's-
I did 28 first.
Pretty.
Yeah, I know, it needs some
No, that's okay.
It
No,
needs
I
some
just picked a little.
tape to it.
It's so cute. Hannah will love that.
So,
She's a cow lover.
Jan, if you are watching this, I had you in mind when I was stitching it, and you will be getting this in the mail at some point.
Aw, sweet. Is she a cow lover too?
I used to, when we were in high school and college, she used to say, "I'm such a cow," or "I'm such a pig." So we all just started giving her cows and pigs.
I see.
So I'm setting her a cow. I don't know if she still collects cows and pigs, but, you know,
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't
You're
matter.
getting it. And you'd be lucky to have it. It's so cute.
So, anyway, there's that. And then I FFO'd, fully finished the fully finishing that I was doing. My Life is Better Wolf, Erica Michaels, but it's supposed to say Fur Mom here, and I didn't want to have that. Fur Baby, I don't know.
I thought it was, yeah.
I put Rogue instead, her name. I was going to put the year, but I was like, I can't figure out how to put it on that because it would have to be on an angle. And I was just like, never mind, I'll just put some more little paws there. I think there was some there, maybe not, but I just put little paws.
I thought of Rogue this morning. I saw a TikTok, little Instagram reel or something. It had a picture of a puppy, and it said, I paid $75 for this German Shepherd on Craigslist. And then and it went to this picture of a dog. It kind of looked like Rogue. It said this bearded insane thing, a a 25-pound bearded insane animal or something like that. I was like, that's Rogue. Oh my gosh.
After I show all three of these, I'm going to do a brief funny story. So this is Stitch All the Things. So you saw all the pieces last week, except for this.
So cute.
I did this. And Naomi is going to insert a picture right here of what this topper looks like before I stuck it on so you can see it. The others, you've already seen the toppers and stuff, so it's okay.
Cute.
I'm not going to take pictures of them again. I spent most of my week crocheting rather than stitching. Also, I had a really super bad headache on Tuesday, and my physical therapist did the dry needle in my neck, and I was not worth anything that day. I did not do anything that day and most of the next day.
It's so pretty.
Anyway,
Very
so
nice.
there's that. And I don't know why I got these out. I got these things out. I'm like, you see the finished thing right there? I did finally finish this, and I was going to sew it into a pillow this morning. I
looks
completely,
so
I
good.
completed that cowl this morning. I was going to sew this into a pillow. I have the fabric back there. I just haven't cut it and everything. I just decided I should probably feed my dad instead.
So I love that fabric. Can I see that? This is so nice. Oh, you put stabilizer on it. I love this fabric. How did you dye this?
Is that the one where you did with grabbing it?
Accidentally with your
I
hands?
tied it.
Oh,
I tied it in knots, and I dyed it yellow, and then I took it apart and I knotted it again, and then I dipped it in coral.
Mm. It is so nice.
Oh, it was the
shows up
yellow
so
fabric that you, when you put your hands on it?
That was bluish. I think.
That's a different
Oh,
one.
Yeah.
okay.
So maybe I'll get this fully finished. I went and bought rickrack and everything. I was gonna do it. Yeah. This room is stifling in the afternoon. We have a fan going. I don't know if you can hear it. It's 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah. It's hot.
And it's cool for Phoenix in the summer right now, and it is too hot to be in this room. So
You know,
I find it difficult to come
when
in
we
here.
were starting filming, and you were asking the dog, "Are you hot?" Because she had been running back and forth with the door opening and everything. She'd going ballistic and everything. And I thought, she's hot, running back and forth. I'm hot, just sitting here.
Can I steal your lotion?
Yeah.
Yeah, so so I got up early and I was working on this stuff in here while it was bearable, which is also why I haven't been doing a lot of sewing, like quilting and stuff.
Yeah.
And then this is my WIP-GO, one of my WIP-GO calls. Oh, there's a dog under me. One of my WIP-GO calls for this month, Underwater World by Stitchy Princess.
That's cute.
And I started it first, and I changed the colors to just try to make it work. Here. Can you see that?
Sort of.
Yeah. I didn't like the way it was looking, the colors on this, and I changed both of these colors, and it's still
It's not so bad.
meh.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, maybe it'll look better on a darker fabric. So I tried it on this. Okay, so I started it there. I started it here. I didn't like the way the colors looked on here at all. I didn't, I didn't like it. So then I started it again
I
on
have a very similar story.
here.
Ah.
Okay, and I like that color better for
Yeah.
the seahorse. So
That looks a lot like the model. Well, the printout anyway. It's a
Yeah.
pretty color of fabric.
Yeah, but I changed this color. But anyway, this would be a perfect color. And
It's not big enough.
yeah, before I picked this fabric, I used the tool instead of going to Yarn Trees, which I normally do, I used the tool in Thread Stash to see if this fabric was big enough.
The calculator.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Said it was. It is not by an inch.
Oh no.
And so what I'm going to do, this little dude is already finished, so I might cut him out and do something with him rather than take it out.
Yeah.
But I can't use this fabric.
Oh,
for
that's
that.
a shame. That's so pretty.
It looks good on this. So for right now, I'm FFOing this. I mean, UFOing this.
UFOing it. Oh, okay. Putting a timeout.
I have another WIP-GO thing I can start on. And it's a Halloween thing. If I want to, I have the fabric that I was working on, Daisy May, that really teal fabric. And it's a huge piece of fabric. Way bigger than Daisy May. I may start it again on that. In the second half of the month. Now, I've already got 3 days going on that. So I'm going to count those.
There you go.
But, and then, this is my cross-stitch camp piece. It's a tiny little box, the thimble box, Little Bee Thimble Box by Noteworthy Needle, designed by Janice Note. It's very cute. And this is how far I've gotten.
It's pretty.
Now,
So is that like the side of the box?
Yes. So I was going to stitch all the way across like this, however far it needed to go. And then I said, rather than counting all that, I'll count 10 at a time down here, which will help me place these things in the right spot. And so this is, I think it's just 10 in something. That's not the instructions. That's the instructions, not the thing. But it's 10 from, so there's the first 8 and then it's 10. So, and then I'm going to do another 10 and that'll tell me where to place this. These little spots right here are, okay, let me back up. This is half a B. Because the other half a B is going to be over here. So when you pull it around, then they meet up. And so in the picture, the little beehives are on the sides. So this little beehive, which isn't quite finished, I have one more stitch on it. I hope I didn't cut it off because, no. Okay. So this little beehive right here is the side of the box. This is half a bee, I'm assuming, for the back of the box. And then there'll be another bee right here. That's the front of the box, and another beehive for the side, and then half a bee for the end. And that's all the bigger it's going to be. So this is the side of the box right here.
So cute, so little.
Right here.
Reminds me of your tiny mouse that you made.
Yeah. Itty bitty little mouse. Yeah. You know what? I'm enjoying this, and if putting it together isn't a pain in the rear, the attic has a lot of them.
Yeah. Different kinds of things like that.
Little thimble boxes.
Cute.
And I have done 0 work on my berry since last week. I was like, I haven't done anything this week. Actually, I did. But, so I'm going to try to work on this without making tons of mistakes. Making mistakes is my way. So
It's how you learn.
So, who's next?
Are you going next, Beth, or shall I?
I can.
Okay. After you put a thread.
After I put this thread.
You always put enough thread.
So I've done kind of a lot of stitching. I started off with my camp piece, but I'll get to that in a second. But then I did work on my August rabbit. So, and this is the one that you really can't see the rabbits. They're in white. And
Oh yeah.
on this light colored fabric, and you really can't see them. So I'm using, I think I misspoke last week. I said this was, I think I said ice, but it's actually spa is the name of this color. Ice is a white color. Spa, and I did that mistake before. Spa is this blue color.
Yes, she
So-
did. She kept saying, "Isn't that?"
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Is that nice?
But so the green thread is my corner marker, but there's a little carrot right there and a couple of rabbits.
Mice
So
on ice.
yeah, but so I got pretty far considering that I worked on it just a little while. So there's that. And then I worked on Sheepish Manor, this little kit that I got at the attic. Sheepish Manor by Chessie and me, and it came with the fabric and the silk threads and stuff like. So I just did the little house
That's really pretty.
at the beginning, and that's my center. I did a center start on that. So there's a big house on the hill when I did that. And then I dyed some fabric because I think last week I said, I think I need to dye some fabric, and then
you were talking about.
I found some, and I thought, oh no, I don't need to dye some fabric. I don't need to dye fabric, and I was like, yes, I do, because everything I thought I'd forgotten about everything else. So, I'll start with this. So, because I didn't actually do any stitching on it. This is the sampler thing, the come thou fount thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I wanted
We'll put a close up with it.
yeah, to do something for, yeah. So what I ended up
it's
doing,
really nice, Beth.
I ended up, I was like trying to coffee tea dye this fabric, and it came out kind of lighter than I wanted. So I stuck it in.
Does it look like pink? Pink.
I want to say I don't remember if it was pink or if it was coral that I used.
It looks like
RIP
pink.
dye, and I just stuck it in there. So it has a sort of it has a pinkish hue, but it also has a little bit of that
It reminds me
coffee
of
tea dye coloring.
of the. It reminds me of the transition point. Ooh, I want to get that wet. Between the chocolate and the strawberry and Neapolitan ice cream. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it reminds me of. It looks
But
kinda
so
yummy.
I
It's very pretty.
think that everything will look okay on this.
Yeah.
What I was concerned with when I first did the coffee dyeing, and really if I had used, I was using one of Dad's pods, and if I had
a Keurig pot.
if I had used more of those, and other stuff, it would have been a little darker, I think. But
I like the pink though.
yeah,
It's nice.
But then like I said, I wanted to give it a little more color because when I did that,
freeze-dried coffee.
huh?
I have freeze-dried coffee for this purpose.
So the fabric was a little bit lighter than I really wanted, and I was afraid that these little white angels wouldn't stand out enough,
yeah. I think it's good. That'll be good. It's branching out for you.
Yeah. So I think, and also I wanted something that the blue would look good on, and the red would look good
green.
on, and the brown of this
Yeah.
Jesus's robe here, and the green, yeah. So I think I'm hoping everything
How big is that inches wise?
It's like, I don't remember the inches. It's 246 stitches long and about 140 wide.
I don't know. That doesn't mean anything to me. It's just, because I don't stitch.
Yeah.
Is that big?
Yeah.
It's pretty big.
It's pretty big, yeah.
Like, how big is this piece of...
I have the
I remember the original was huge.
Yeah.
Oh, this is huge.
Yeah. So
where do you buy fabric this big?
This at Hobby Lobby. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It's 28 count. They have, this is a 30 by 36 inch piece, I believe.
I need to get a big piece like this for that thing I bought.
But
oh, sorry.
thank you for wadding up my fabric. I would say I think it's. So anyway, while she's doing that, so while I was dyeing that, I also dyed 2 more pieces. So I had the DMC kit, Blue Elephant. So I dyed this piece. I dyed the Ada that it came with. This is using Rit Aquamarine, and then I splashed a little bit of indigo in there.
That's pretty.
Yeah, so
will that blue
stick that with it.
Will that blue elephant show up on there?
Yes. This is the floss that the kit came with, and I was concerned because I thought, oh, this is the blue of the elephant.
Oh.
And I thought, I don't know if that's gonna show up right, but I think it will. I think everything will.
Yeah.
Well, the elephant is big enough that you can backstitch it with that darker blue.
Yeah, the elephant is like kind of surrounded by other colors. And what I was wanting to do was like this. This is the yellow for some of the flowers and stuff like that. So I think all the colors will look.
That's fun.
Will look good on that.
Did this come with fabric?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you dyed.
Yeah. So there's that.
Should I just wad that up too? Right.
And then this little kitty kit this Bucilla kit, I did start on this. So there's this little chest patch and the cat. And on this one, this fabric I dyed also because it came with white Ada. And this I just did. I did I think denim blue, the blue that I use a lot, and then I also splashed this with the indigo, darker color. So it came out really nice. And but when I was starting this, it came with a needle that came in a kit, and I guess because I had been using a smaller needle to do this 40 count fabric thing, the needle felt huge. It felt like I was stitching with a pole,
With a knitting needle.
Yeah, and so I switched it out with a needle that I had. Also because when I had gotten to this, I'd done all this little purple middle thing, and I was going to tuck the thread in, and I could not get that pole under the stitches. It was so
It's like a
fat.
beginner needle, though.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
So.
Yeah, and but it was really, really hard. So I switched it out so that I could weave the end in.
Yeah.
And also this little, I started on this lighter purple on the top of the cat there, and there are some where he has a little bow tie on, and so where the purple of the cat and the red of the bow tie meet, there are little little quarter stitches or whatever. You have to split the Ada. And I thought, if I had tried to do that with that big fat needle, I wouldn't have, it would have been really hard.
Yeah.
It was hard with this needle as it is, And if I had thought about it, I probably would have switched out the fabric to make it easier. But anyway, so I started this also. A needle start. And I wanted to start that blue elephant, but I just didn't have time, didn't get around to it, because I spent most of my time doing my cross-stitch camp project, and this is Hippity Hop by Primrose Cottage Stitches.
It's little.
So they're tiny.
Oh my gosh! I thought
40, yeah, that's 40 count.
Oh my gosh, you're almost done with it. It's so
Yeah.
little. How do you? How do you not use magnifying glass?
I just have to look at it until I can see it. But yeah, so this is, I'm gonna take a picture of it because it's really tiny. You can't. It's hard to see, and also it's a little bit. The fabric is actually a little dark for the colors of this. It's very the design itself is very colorful, but it doesn't really stand out on this fabric. But it looks good. I think the colors look good on
It's
that.
very pretty.
Yeah, and the only thing I had. I couldn't find this blue color at first, and I'll talk about that in a second. But so I started with the pink of Hippity, and I had gotten to the H's. Well, I had done the bunny, and it was in the right place. I was a little concerned at one point whether I had gotten the bunny in the wrong place, but I did the bunny, and then I started on the H of the word hop, and because the bunny makes up the O, and so you do the H and the P, and I did the H, and I was doing the usual out and back kind of method of half a stitch down and then fill it in with the other half, and I thought I had counted correctly, and the H is, there's like two rows of stitches, and then the bottom, the legs of the H. And so I had done all that, and I got to the second leg of the H, to the second half of the second leg, to the end of the H, and I was putting the little crossbar on it, and I'm one square off.
Oh no.
So I finished
So tiny.
I finished the bottom of that one crossbar, and then I thought, how am I going to fix this? Because I don't want to undo the whole H and redo it all. I don't want to do that. So what I did was a technique that I learned from Caroline on Friday Off the Grid. And what I did was I took my scissors, and fortunately these are like curved little snippers, curved scissors, and I snipped the end of the crossbars on the H's, those three crossbars, this one, and this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I snipped the stitch, and very carefully with my needle pulled out, the thread, and then in order to tuck in those tiny ends, the technique that Caroline had talked about was you take a short piece of thread, and you loop it like you're going to do loop start, or you double it over, and you put the ends, the two ends through the needle, and so you have a loop. And so
And
you
use
go,
that as a needle.
yeah, you go under the stitches that you have, that you're anchoring it on, and then you use the loop to catch those little threads, and then you pull them under.
Yeah.
So
I've done something similar, just hook or by crook, because
Mm-hmm.
I cross stitch all the time, where I have to do that. I run, and I don't want to start a new thread, and I have this much thread, where I put the needle like under the stitches like that, and I use a needle threader to thread that tiny little and just
They
pull it
they
through
make
that
a
way.
tool for that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I've seen that. I was like, what is it? Oh, that would be so useful.
So yeah, I did that. So otherwise,
That's really cute.
I'm about I've got about half this frame to do, and then it'll be done.
That's nice.
So I'm thinking, today's Saturday. Certainly by the weekend it'll be finished probably. So yay! And then I can do all my other. I can at least start all my other things, for my ambitious August that I'm doing. But so there were. I was missing 2 threads out of here, and one I knew that it's just the little centers of the flower, and I recognized the number. I said, I know I've used that recently on something, I thought, and so I thought it's got to be in one of my project bags and one of my projects, and I'm, I had just put off looking for it and put off looking for it. And then I got down to where I had just the blue and that one yellow color were all that were left in this design. I thought, I've got to sort through and look for those threads. And so I was going to bite the bullet and go through all my project bags and find those threads. Because I had already gone through all my DMC boxes to see if the threads were there, and they weren't. And so as I was walking over to the closet where I've got my WIP-GO projects, all the projects in there, I happened across a little one of those little project boxes that Naomi had given me when you gave me all your cross-stitch stuff, and it had I guess some project you were working on that I'm assuming it was a kit. Because the bobbins have like short lengths, it's not a full skein on there.
Uh-huh.
So I thought, on the off chance, I thought, you know what, I'm going to look at this box, because I hadn't really used those threads for anything. I don't know what they were part of, or whatever. But so I opened up that box. And sure enough, there were the 2 colors in there. And the reason I was thinking they're like from some kit is because, like I said, it's not a full skein.
Yeah.
And here's the number, and there's a little symbol.
Yeah.
So very neatly done.
Back when I used to start projects really well.
You still start projects really well.
I do start projects really well.
So fortunately, there was all the colors that I needed. So
An excellent starter.
So
is that you?
That's me.
All right. So it's my turn, and the very first thing is I have a finish 1.5 years in the making. Dun, 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 dun. Here, Eve.
It's not like you worked on it for 1.5 years.
No, but I should have. Anyway, here is the Heaven and Space Shawl by, I can't remember the name. Strickmick. I'll put it here. But this is made with the concentric yarn that I've talked about 1,000 times.
Oh, little bubbles. I love it.
Yeah, I know. And so I would talk to you. This is for Rachel. She's here. Rachel, wave. She's here.
Hello.
Finally, here's your shawl. We've been talking about it because how you block it makes a big difference. Because if I block it flat, it will lose this corrugated look. So we've been talking about it. I think I'm gonna, it's relaxing. So maybe a good folding and just keeping it folded flat will stretch it out enough.
Model
that
it.
you don't
Model
have
it,
to.
Rachel.
Take it, finally.
Finally.
Here, lean down so everyone can see you with it. There she goes. She's like, woman, finally finished. So
Now, even though it's August, it's going to snow.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I finished something. So that's my accomplishment. I will block it lightly for you. And then, I wanted to show this. I got this ages ago when I told you about the Home and Garden show that Rachel said that weekend. Did you get anything
That's just
good?
a couple
It's
of
like,
weeks ago.
We got COVID. What?
That's just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, no.
It's not ages ago.
Well, did I say ages? Anyway, I meant to show you this. I bought this at there was a lady, I have her card here. Rescued Creations, SHAWNS. Handmade, upcycled, and custom gnomes. She makes all gnomes. And so this is it's a bottle topper, like you put on a wine bottle or whatever. Isn't he cute? He's Christmassy, but isn't he so cute? She had so many cute gnomes. She had these, and then she had actual stuffed ones. But I got this little bottle topper because I thought that would be really cute to go in my gnome collection. So I finished the shawl. And now, Eve, I have something to show you. It's not finished. Don't get excited. But look.
I'm still waiting for my
But
snowman.
look. He's got
frog
no
eyes.
He's not good.
He is good.
He's together, but he's not.
He's fine.
It's like this didn't come out good. A little
I
under
don't
here.
He
And,
looks cute. He looks like a
He
frog.
needs legs, but he's got his eyes, and she does this technique where after you sew it together here, you pick up stitches, and then you bind them off. So you pick up a knit and then bind it off, and it makes that little lip.
Yeah.
Isn't that cute? And so I stuffed him and sewed him together late last night, and I decided I gotta go to bed. I cannot do the legs. So. But he needs legs now. But anyway, Mr. Frogman, isn't he cute? Her pattern, so Dot Pebbles Knits, Claire Garland, you are the bomb. Just her shaping and just all the little details are just... Remember the mouse? I forgot about the mouse I made for Hannah's apartment. Remember with a little sweater?
Oh yeah.
Where her roommate's mom freaked out because I was like, here's your little mouse, a talisman against mice. And she heard someone say something mouse. What? A mouse? From the other side of the apartment, and they were moving in that day. It was so funny. Anyway, there's your little frog. Here's my little frog bag. So Frogman.
Talisman against frogs.
Talisman against frogs. So this is Hannah's sweater. I finally told her about it. I sent her a picture. I'll put it here, the picture I sent her, and I said, so I did a thing, and it's for you. But here's the progress. Look at that striping. Isn't that gorgeous?
The striping is coming out perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And that's this
It's like it's not
color burst
changing.
yarn.
It's not changing in the middle of the
No,
stripe.
if it
so
is,
it's really-
you'll never find it. You know, it's because
Yeah.
it's got such long color changes, and I just think it's going to be great. We talked about. So I told you I did this twice. Oh, what I forgot to say is this frog. This is the third iteration of this frog. I mean, I didn't get this far, but from here to here, from the tail to the just above the hips, 3 times. Anyway, so that was fun. But I may do another
He
one.
belongs in my underwater world.
He does. So, but this.
I
Anyway,
thought you were gonna say he belongs to
my underwear. That's what I thought you were saying, and I was like, "What? Okay. I don't know." Well, then I thought you were going to say he belongs with me because I do everything 3 times, and then I thought you were going to say. Then you said under, and I thought you were going to say he belongs with my underwear, and then you said underwater world, which is why I reacted a little slowly, like, okay, oh, okay, that makes sense. You guys are just weird. Well, if we're weird, we're both younger than you, so you made us weird. It's not our fault. Okay. So I talked with her about it after I showed it to her, and you know I had knit it twice because I thought the first time wasn't going to be big enough, and she's actually glad. And we talked about length and we talked about fit, and she's like, I wouldn't mind a big bulky sweater, and I mean like a big oversized, and I'm like, yeah, I have a plan in my brain to make you an oversized sweater, but not yet. I really want to get this is my sweater without a pattern. Sweater, and so like I did for my dad, and I said I really want to get my legs under me in making a sweater that fits well. So so this is going to fit her with some ease, you know, and we talked about length. She wants winter length, which is like, you know, good around the hips so that it doesn't ride up and expose, you know. And then we talked about sleeves because the book gives you options of sleeves, you know, fitted, which is what I made Dad. It's just a nice fitted sleeve that fits all the way up, and then fuller, fitted, semi-fitted, fuller, fullest, and even fullest. This is what it said, something like that. And so she wants a bit of a full sleeve. So that she can, and I thought it'd be good, so she could wear, if she wants to wear a turtleneck underneath, it'll still feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that, and I'm getting, this is bus and office knitting when the phones are dead. So it's been nice to have. One day I went without it because I was like, I'm gonna be responsible and I had driven myself in, so I didn't take it for the bus, and I was so miserable. And I told my colleague, I'm never coming to work without knitting ever again, because when the phones are dead, nobody cares. I have to sit there and wait for it to ring. I mean, we have things to do, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, no. And then at lunch, I didn't have anything to do. I read my book. So, but the phones aren't going to be dead for very much longer because this is dropping. Look how pretty. This is our Simony brochure. We've been waiting for this for ages. It was very delayed for many, many reasons, but this is the Phoenix Symphony season brochure, which everyone's been waiting for. Everyone's been calling. I haven't got a brochure yet. I'm like, I know, none of us have. But now it's here, and it's going to nail out, and it's so pretty. So I thought you'd like to look at that. And the other book...
Yeah, because there's a bassoon on the cover.
I know. The other book I brought is I bought this a couple of weeks, I think before last time, and I forgot it. This is a book called The Complete Surprise, and it's made by Elizabeth Zimmerman's daughter. If you are a knitter of any length, you probably know Elizabeth Zimmerman. She's sort of one of those matriarchs of knitting who created, or who just kind of, she was one of those people who just was very experimental and just went out on her own. She wasn't afraid to just, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. And so she wound up developing a lot of systems that people use. The percentage system that this sweater is based on was created by Elizabeth Zimmerman and then used by Jacqueline Fee in her book, The Sweater Workshop. So she's kind of everyone's grandma of knitting. Like, I don't mean grandma like old, I mean grandma like matriarch. And she created something back in the, I don't know when, 50s, 60s, called the Baby Surprise, Baby Surprise jacket. And it was this piece of knitting that you knit, there's a little image here. You knit it in one flat piece. I don't know if you can see that. And then you make, I guess, 2 seams, and it turns into a jacket. It's just with shaping and different things. I don't understand it, but I want to understand it. See, it's just a flat piece of knitting, and then somehow you sew it up, and it becomes a jacket like that. So it becomes one of these little jackets here. And the reason I bought this book, so you can't like buy the pattern on Ravelry anymore, but there's a million. If you go on Ravelry and you look up Baby Surprise Jacket, you'll see a million projects with it because it's been around forever and everybody does it. Yeah. So cute. And so this book was put together by her daughter, and you can make the Baby Surprise Jacket, but it also gives you instructions to make an adult size. Like, look at that one. So I asked, because Mark, poor Mark, I've never knit anything for him.
You can knit him one for a bear.
Yeah. But cute. I showed him this because I said, what kind of sweater would you like if I made you one? Because I was very excited to make him one of these, and he's like, I think one that opens in the front. I said, you mean a cardigan? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, because the Sweater Workshop has instructions for cardigan, and you just like that little Gramps sweater, you just knit it back and forth, right? So it's no big deal. But this one, I showed him this, and he really liked it. I'll put a close up of this men's sweater, and I like he's like, I really like the striping, and I think that's just done with maybe like a yarn like this that self stripes. And because of how you put it together, it creates the stripes like that. I don't know. I like I said, I don't know anything about this. But I'm going to make a baby one for my friend that I knit the little jacket for. I'm going to make that for her, and as a practice. And then once I do that, then I will, because this is just, it has a tie. You can put buttons if you want. So, but this book, I'm excited about it just because I like to learn new things. That's why I start 10,000 projects. But I'm going to make a baby one, and then after I feel comfortable with that, I'm going to, because it has all different kinds of versions. So see, here's this one.
Really
Isn't that cute? And then I'm going to learn to make the adult one, and I think I'm going to attempt to make Mark one. And you know what? I bet I won't get in trouble for buying the yarn. No, I'm just kidding. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. I'm just joking. Yeah, they have this onesie with buttons all the way up. So cute. And a bear sweater. But anyway, so that's my new kind of future adventure. And I have these yarns here because today is August 5th. And on on your birthday. Mm-hmm. On Eve's birthday. Today's the 6th. I'm sorry. Yeah. I spent a long time with August 5th. I wrote it 1,000 times. Anyway, today's the 6th. And on the 14th, so a week from tomorrow, Casa Pinka is putting out her Sharon Air pattern, and this will become my not my opera shawl, my symphony shawl. And sorry, the black won't stay in camera. There it is. So I'm excited about that. So I brought those just to remind me that that's happening, and I think that's everything. I have 2 funny stories. May I tell my stories? Mm-hmm. So the first one was last Sunday after church. Eli was visiting, and so we went to get, I think it was Sunday. Maybe it was Saturday. I don't remember. Anyway, at some point in the weekend. Oh, it was Saturday. It was Saturday right after we finished recording. I called Mark and I was like, hey, I haven't eaten breakfast, I guess. Yeah. And so we were like, let's have brunch-ish on Saturday. I think it was Saturday. I don't know. It was one of those days. We went to Chop Shop. And we love Chop Shop. And I love their tea. They have really good tea. And so we bought 3 large teas. And they have always had good cup holders there, take-home cup holders. They're the kind that have the, you build them, it's 2, and then you can tab them together to make 4, right? But so she just gave me the one for 2, and we're like, that's okay, Eli can carry his, and I'll carry ours. So I filled them, and when she gave them to me, she opened it and popped the bottom down. And when I was looking at it, I'm like, it doesn't seem right, and I kind of pushed it down. And then I put the cups in there, and then we were walking out, and I'm wearing... It was Sunday because I was wearing my nice shoes. Mm. And the reason I remember what shoes I was wearing is because I opened the door and the bottom fell out. And 2 large drinks like this of tea, thank God it was tea with no sugar in it, just went boom, on my feet, all over the entrance to the store. I was like... That was fun. So then I go to go fill up new cups. They're like, oh, so sorry, do you want new cups? I'm like, yeah, but I don't want anyone to slip because it was right at the entrance. They have a concrete floor, which isn't so bad if it gets wet, but, and then I go back there to the tea again. I'm like, these are my good shoes. These are the shoes I wear to work every day. Like, doggone it. So that was annoying and funny. But, no, so yesterday, I was by myself up at the bank of phones, and my manager was around the corner. Well, she was working, and actually she was out at lunch. And it was very sparse in the office, because Arizona Fridays, they do a thing a lot of times in Arizona where you either get half a day off or you get all of Friday off in the summer. I don't know why. I guess it's just too hot and all the businesses say we can't deal with it. So go home. And so what they do in the summer, and also because we're not in a season, so things are slow, they do an A and B managers, or I guess it's managers, because everybody's a manager except for us. Anyway, they kind of this A and B schedule. So half the office is off and the other half is on, but the ones that are on, I'll leave at 3. It's kind of weird like that. So the office was very sparsely populated, and I had just come back from lunch, and I was kind of on the sleepy side. Phones weren't ringing, and I'm kind of sitting there like, okay. And I had things to do, but I was just kind of resting for a second. And I hear this disembodied laughter of a little child. And, it's like, when you hear normal, like kids laughing, they don't just do that. And it was literally like the soundtrack to a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there going, okay, I know that is a child in the lobby because we're on the second floor and our windows to our office are like the lobby's right there, and it's a high ceilinged lobby, so everything echoes in there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear people talking, and if someone's kind of raising their voice, you can hear it pretty easily. But you can also hear people just conversing a lot of times, in a muffled way. But it was just so weird because it was just repeated like that, like, and it reminded me. I saw a TikTok of somebody with like one of those, like a Bluetooth speaker, and you hide it on the counter, and it's this little, and they play this little kid voice when like their husband comes into the kitchen. It's like, hi, are you there? Are you there? I can't see you. I'm right, and you're like, I'm right behind you. And so this woman played this trick on her husband, and he was kind of freaked out. And she goes, turn around, I'm right behind you. And so he turned around, and the wife was out the door and opened the door and yelled at him and freaked him out. Now, you think it's staged, maybe. But it was just so funny because that's exactly how that voice sounded. And a friend of mine, Lawson, who used to work in the box office but now has another position, he was around the corner. I was like, Lawson, do you hear that disembodied voice of a child? Oh, because I got up and I went, because we used to be able to see completely into the lobby, but they put a big thing on the windows right where we sit. But around the corner, it's the frosting is only halfway and you can kind of look down. So I looked down into the lobby and I saw no child. And I was like, and I couldn't see the whole lobby, obviously, but I was like, there's no child down there. How weird. And I said, so Lawson, did you hear that disembodied child's voice out there? And he's like, no. And so he came up to the box office and he was standing there, and all of a sudden he heard it again. He's like, oh my gosh. So then he went and looked, and there's a mirror on the far side of the lobby from us, and he could just see two little kids' feet in a stroller that was sitting basically directly under us. So that's where it was coming from. But it was just so funny because it was just so creepy.
So I saw this video of this woman saying that she has something come on in the morning to wake her up. It's real soft, and like maybe that good morning,
Yeah.
that really, and she's like, it uplifts me and everything. She goes, and my husband, after 55 years, he's 55 years old, has developed a sense of humor, and he changed the song to "I Feel Good," and she goes, if you don't know that song,
scream.
he screams for she was asking for revenge ideas.
I like
because
that.
a lot of people play that joke on people. They get a big, like a speaker, and they come up behind people that are like cooking or whatever, and they play that scream, and they jump, and they drop their frying pan, and there's a bunch of those out there.
Yeah.
No, my husband, guess what he wakes up to? French Baroque opera. No, not just Baroque music. That would be beautiful. No, it's French Baroque opera. And I'm like, who are you and why? And he's like, it's soothing. I'm like, it would put you back to sleep.
So when I lived in Little Rock, I had my clock radio on the classical station. So
Yeah,
so
that's
I
nice.
wake up because when I was in college, I think it was one of the local FM stations. They had like one of those. It was a morning show or whatever, and like they always played something goofy. And I remember that song. Fish heads. Yeah, that was popular in those days.
I can't do alarms with buzzers.
Yeah.
I have because I don't wake up and I have a nightmare. I several times I have a nightmare where I'm looking at the phone, at the clock, and trying to turn it off, and I can't push the buttons, and I'm so frustrated, and I don't know what's wrong, and there's something wrong with this thing. It's because I'm still asleep. Every time I've used a buzzer to wake up, so I wake up with my phone on.
Yeah, the phone you can choose a song to wake up to.
Yeah.
So
That's how I have it now.
I saw a new doctor because I needed some referrals and stuff, and
because I chase away all the primary care
because
doctors.
Beth chased away my doctor. So I wanted a referral to an orthopedist because of my knees and now my hips, and it's making it very difficult for me to get up from a sitting position, especially on like the couch or something. And he goes, well, he said, you have really bad arthritis in your knees, and that's what's going on. And really, there's not really at your age much they can do. He goes, because you know what's causing that? You're old. He's probably older than I am. But, and I'm like,
Thank you, sir.
mm-hmm. And this whole, he showed me his tablet. See what that says? I said, it's a bunch of words. I'm like, I don't know what you're telling me. And
I mean, is he saying all this with humor?
he's
Or
not
with
saying
meanness?
it. He's not saying it mean. He's just, and I couldn't get a word in edgewise about anything.
Yeah.
and so I told him that I thought I have an eye infection because my right eye hurts. Now, I'm allergic to everything. If my eyes water, it's usually allergies. But my right eye is watering a lot, and it hurts. And so he looked at it and goes, well, the skin is very dry, and you have a blue ring around your iris. And I'm like, I'm already seeing an eye doctor. I'm just wondering if I have an eye infection. And he prescribed anti-itch drops.
Yeah.
I have anti-itch drops.
Mm-hmm.
I never said it itched. I just said it's watering and it hurts.
Don't tell your eye doctor that, because you know why?
Why?
Because he'll stick a needle in your tear duct.
I have stuff in my tear ducts all the time.
I'm just saying.
The other one.
But one of my eyes was doing that, just constantly flowing, and I was at my eye doctor, and he's like, "Oh, your tear duct's probably blocked here." Poke. It was very unpleasant, but it worked. But he's like, "It's not going to hurt," and I'm like, "You liar! It does hurt. It is not comfortable to stick a needle in your tear duct." Anyway.
Yeah, I was just kind of I left there going, what did I just do? It was one of those visits.
Oh.
Yeah, and the other strange thing that happened was when I was working, I could not. The insurance that my job offered was horrendous. So I got insurance from the exchange, which was equally bad. And it costs a lot of money a month and covered nothing.
And then you still had to pay a lot of money. And
It was
Yep.
my share. Well, they didn't pay anything until you had used up $3,000.
Yikes.
Not even a portion.
It's like, why do you even have insurance? If I had to pay so much, you feel like.
So anyway, so if I needed to go to the primary care, it was $200. Half the time I just dealt with it. I didn't go because I didn't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
So anyway, but it was the same insurance I had when I ended up having knee surgery, December of whenever we were at Baylor Street.
Mm.
And I had just reached the $300 cap.
$3,000.
$3,000 cap thing where they would pay 40%. Mm-hmm. So a while back, I got a letter from them with a check that said that they had overcharged me on premiums, and I knew that they had, but I didn't worry about it. When I switched from that to Access, that's the Medicaid here in Arizona, and because I wasn't working anymore and blah blah blah. So I had told them when to quit it, but then they charged me another month, and I was just like, they're never going to give it back to me. Well, about 2 years afterward, they did. This past week, I got another check from them saying that their record showed that I was overcharged or something like that. They didn't pay whatever. And it was over $200 they
That's
sent me.
nice. We got $2.
Yeah.
I literally got a check for $2. Same thing.
I was going,
Well, that's nice.
yeah.
I told her it was
The
like
whole time.
Monopoly. Bank error in your favor.
Exactly.
And I told Beth, I need to run and deposit this before they decide they made a mistake again. But that tells you the kind of trouble I had with this insurance.
It was bad. Yeah, it
I
was
remember
bad.
when I got
We were on it for a little while too.
when I got laid off in Little Rock. I got laid off from my job. I had various prescriptions that I was taking, and I went to go fill it, and they said something about like that my insurance didn't cover it anymore. So I was calling, I guess, the insurance company or whatever, and they were saying like because there was some reimbursement factor. I don't remember what I was covering me or whatever, but they were saying that like they said, well, the way it works is that you pay for it out of pocket basically, and then you send them the receipt and they give you half back or something like that.
That's
I'm like,
stupid.
That's really stupid because because the prescription that I had to refill, I would have had to pay like $200. And I'm like, if I had $200 in my pocket to pay for that, why would I need insurance?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's really bad when it wasn't the exchange, but my husband's last job, it was a very small company. And actually, no, it's not small. It was medium. We should have had better. Anyway, but the insurance that we had was just really not great. Mm-hmm. And we've since switched to because he got a new job and new insurance, and it's fabulous. But when I went to my heart doctor the other day, and she's like, do I have your new insurance? And I said, yeah. She's like, oh, yeah. I was hoping. And I'm like, I know, the last one was so bad. She goes, oh, it was really bad. When your doctor tells you that your insurance was really bad,
yeah,
it probably really was.
Well, that
and I'm like, I know, it didn't
that
pay anything.
Ambetter insurance.
Yeah.
I had to have a blood test because I couldn't have the surgery because my white blood count was too low or something like that, and they wanted me to go see somebody because they tested it twice and it was still bad. So not high, low. So I went to this specialist and he gave me this blood test, and the bill was $1,000 for a blood test.
Yeah.
And I was like, how much of this is my insurance going to cover?
It was awful. And, we had a lot of runaround with the bills with the exchange that we had, and the exchange health insurance we had, because they would send, when they would pay the doctors, it was like they would send a Visa card, or it came from a Visa, not from like some account. It was weird, because I was talking to the doctors and I was showing, I'm like, what is this? You go, yeah, we pay with a Visa. When we call the doctor to pay them, I was like, what? Yeah, it was crazy. So now I'm very happy we have new insurance.
I
had great insurance before we had this exchange insurance.
I was messaging with a girl who's on the acoustic neuroma group on Facebook that I'm in, and she I guess lives here in the Phoenix area. She was talking about how she had gone to Barrow for her treatment, and I was talking about how when I first moved here, or shortly after I moved here, I went on Access on the Medicaid thing, and but before that, when I was very first diagnosed, I had wanted to go to Barrow because I knew it was one of the places that on the message boards and stuff like that about acoustic neuromas, they had talked about Barrow as being one of the
It's the
better
Barrow
places.
Neurological Institute
Yeah.
here in Phoenix. They're really world renowned.
Yeah. So it was very well recommended for the acoustic neuroma surgery, and I wasn't sure. I think I had already chosen to have radiation, and I thought, maybe I can go to Barrow
This is
because
why you were still in Little Rock.
yeah, when I was still in Little Rock, because I thought, well, Naomi lives out here, and my cousin actually, my cousin Judy's husband, had brain cancer of some kind, I guess.
Yes.
And he was treated there.
And he was treated at Barrow. And I thought, oh yeah, maybe I could stay with Naomi and go to Barrow, and and I was looking into it, and I knew my insurance wouldn't cover it because at the time I had my insurance paid for like 3 doctor's office visits a year. A year.
That's insane.
And for something like this, which is so,
Yeah.
basically extravagant, radiation treatments and blah, 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 I knew they wouldn't pay for anything. And Barrow was like, well, you can call us when you have better insurance or something like that. I was like, "Arr." But so by the time I came out here, I had already had the radiation treatments, and I thought I was fine. And then I developed hydrocephalus. And so when we went to the ER, they were talking about, okay, yeah, you have to have brain surgery or whatever, and so they were, I guess, calling around to find some place to take me, and I ended up going to Barrow, and because I was on Access paid for all of it, so I didn't, so I was like, I lucked out, but I was like, I got really lucky because
That's not luck. That's
well,
blessings.
yeah. I mean, lucky in that they were able to treat it.
If you had found a job when you first got here, you would have either stayed on the exchange. I kept telling her to get on Access because she didn't have a job,
Yeah.
but she stayed on the exchange a couple of months, and you would have found other insurance, and it would not have been covered.
Yeah, might not have been.
Yeah, and it would have been really bad if like I had started working someplace, and then like a couple months later,
Yeah.
had to go to the hospital, and then I was
And lose your job.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I was in the hospital and rehab a total of like from the end of May to just after the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty serious, and and it's just one of the just one of those things that I consider it's a God thing because
absolutely.
that a lot of people will talk about luck or fortune or whatever, but it's totally God because there were just so many things that fell into place
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
the right way. Because like even when I was in Little Rock, I was like, I was dreaming about buying a house, and I thought, maybe I could save up, eventually, and and there was a couple of houses that I was always dreaming about. Oh, maybe I could live in this house. Maybe I could live in that house. And there was one that I was such a stalker because I would look at houses like online,
Yeah.
and this one particular house was so perfect. It wasn't too expensive, all things considered, if I had a regular job, but it wasn't too horribly expensive, and it was a craftsman cottage style, craftsman style house, and it had it had a laundry room, it had a really nice kitchen, it had a
How did you know
just
that?
from the
Looking at
pictures,
it online?
from the
Oh,
yeah.
oh, it was for sale. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
you just
yeah.
saw a house.
No,
and
no,
you just
no.
kept driving.
but
Excuse
so
me, can I look at your house?
yeah, so I would like I would drive by there because it was kind of on my way to a couple places. So every once in a while I would just drive by that house and be like, oh, I could live in this neighborhood.
Well, what is it? Yeah, and then you would have been stuck there.
Yeah, yeah.
What is it your dad always says? The Lord protects stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
And it, because you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know any better, and you could have made a big decision, which would have been nice because you would have had a house, right?
Yeah.
But then you would not have been so easily able
Yeah,
to move here.
yeah.
which would have prevented. Well, and even when you were sick that night, that they were looking for a hospital bed, I was mad. I didn't even think about Barrows. They just found St. Joe's, a bed in St. Joe's, and but because you were at St. Joe's, the doctors from Barrow saw it because it's all attached.
Yeah.
Where I really wanted you at Chandler because you would have been right there.
Yeah.
And those of you who don't know, the Barrow Institute, it has, it's more than just one building. But also next to it is the Muhammad Ali Rehabilitation Center.
Yeah.
So they just said, oh, we'll just put her over there.
Yeah. Because, because St. Joseph's Hospital is across town from us. So I didn't want her there because I wanted to be able to go and be there and advocate for her and all that stuff easily, which would have been right down the street at Chandler, But the Lord protects stupid, because they would have had to transfer you maybe to Barrow, but there you were there, the doctors were there, and you got Dr. Porter right away.
Yeah.
So it's all blessing. It's all good. It's all good.
And what there, the reason I clicked on this girl's post right away is that she had posted the little logo from the Barrow Institute, which is a little brain logo, and I thought I have that on my bag.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say they tattooed that on my head.
They should. They should do that. That'd be funny.
Naomi and I went to they had a hydrocephalus, like kind of a seminar kind of thing, and we went because it's one of those things that I don't know anything about it, I mean,
and you're always kind of at risk for it because you have a shunt and all that now,
so they showed some I guess a film clip or something like that, and all this, but the people who attended the seminar, you got a little bit of swag, and one of the things I got was a little tote bag thing that had the Barrow Institute logo on it, and it's really huge. So that's where I keep all my stitching in all the time. Yeah. It's getting a little threadbare now.
My boss is about to go to Tessitura is the ticketing system that we use, and she's about to go to a conference in Denver, brat. And I was like, bring me a bag. I need more bags. I don't need more bags, but bring me a bag. And so I'm sitting there. Okay, so as you know, my boss could be my child. She's like just, I think she's 1 year older than Eli. Or 1 year younger than Eli, something crazy like that. So she could be my child. All my coworkers could be my children. And when I said, you need to bring me a bag, I love bags from the conferences like that. And I said, I'll put my knitting in it. And I stopped myself, and I'm like, that was a very old lady sentence to say. I already feel like an old lady here.
It's like when a friend of mine.
I could put my knitting in it, little girl. Can you bring me a bag from your conference?
Mom loved bags.
I know.
Yeah,
that's where I got it from. I have a bag disease.
I worked at Family Life when I was in Little Rock. One of my coworkers, a friend of mine, and we were talking about something, and I referenced something from the movie Tootsie.
Yeah.
And I guess he didn't know anything about it, and I said, it probably came out when you were a baby. And I said, and he said, well, what year did it come out? And so it was
1984.
Well, I was still in college. It was my last year of college.
So I've been 85.
Before I went, yeah. No. I graduated from UNM in '83. So this would have been the December of '82 that I saw it. Yeah. And because Greg was in Indiana already. Mm-hmm. So.
Undergrad.
Yeah.
I thought you meant graduate school.
When I graduated from UNM. So I said, it came out in '82. And so he kind of chuckled to himself, and I said, how old were you in '82? And he goes, I wasn't even born yet.
It's like, what was I just going to say? Talking about my bag disease. So I have, we used to have a coat rack in the house. We still have a coat rack, but it's no longer used as a coat rack. It's in Hannah's room, and it holds all of my bags, like a bag and another bag and another bag on all of the rungs, right? And Hannah was at home, and that thing resides in her, kind of like shoved it in the corner when she's home, but it keeps all my myriad bags, right? So then when I'm looking for a project, I'm like, oh, what's in this bag? Oh, yeah. So it's kind of, I actually really like it. But I told her, well, here, why don't you take, because she had crochet or something, and I said, well, why don't you take this bag? And she's like, I don't want to take one of your bags. And I went, I think you can take one. I think your father would be happy if you took one.
So I've been working on this autumnberry, and it has this big T. And I stitched the top, and then I was going to go down and then up. And mind you, I haven't put in the U yet, but the T was easier to find the right starting point. So I'm looking at it because I've been stitching kind of while we've been talking and stuff, and the middle part of the T was just kind of going like this. Oh my goodness.
Eve, the fabric has a grid in it, and that sort of shows you like straight
Yeah, you would think.
lines.
I'm looking at it going, what is wrong with this? And every single time I'm like, is that the right row? Is that the right row? And I guess apparently it was not.
Oh no.
So I'm taking it all
So
out.
you really do need that frog, don't you?
I do.
Ribbit. Well, we better wrap up because we're going to the movies.
Yeah.
We're going to go see Nope. Nope. I've seen a couple of trailers. I'm kind of excited.
One of the
But I
people
don't-
at my physical therapist, one of the helpers there, we were talking about movies, and
Oh,
she
yeah?
goes, I just went to see Nope. So good.
I'm excited mostly because I have a birthday gift from last week from Harkins.
Yeah.
So I got money, and I really want popcorn, and I really want my hummus plate. They make this beautiful hummus plate. I just have to say, okay, it's got hummus in 2 little pots. It's got carrots and celery, and then it comes with grapes. Oh, and pita squares that are toasted. And this is how you eat it. First, you take one pot and you eat the carrots and the celery. And then you start the other pot. If you have any carrots or celery left, you eat those first, and then you eat the pita. And it's okay if you run out of hummus because the pita is so good all by itself. And then when all the pita is gone and you need dessert, you eat the grapes. And it's my favorite thing. Would do that instead of going to a fancy restaurant. So excited.
Sorry, I'm taking pictures meanwhile. 'Cause
So we're gonna wrap up, and we will see you next week for Eve's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Oh, it's your birthday.
I guess I have to get a birthday gift. I don't even know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, a gift certificate to the attic or something.
Don't tell her. All right. We will see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.